Preface to The One-Hoss Shay. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. The One-Hoss Shay, with its companion poems, How the Old Horse Won the Bet, and The Broomstick Train, by Oliver Wendell Holmes. Preface. My publishers suggested the bringing together of the three poems here presented to the reader as being to some extent alike in their general character. The wonderful One-Hoss Shay is a perfectly intelligible conception, whatever material difficulties it presents. It is conceivable that a being of an order superior to humanity should so understand the conditions of matter that he could construct a machine which should go to pieces, if not into its constituent atoms, at a given moment of the future. The mind may take a certain pleasure in this picture of the impossible. The event follows as a logical consequence of the presupposed condition of things. There is a practical lesson to be got out of the story. Observation shows us in what point any particular mechanism is most likely to give way. In a wagon, for instance, the weak point is where the axle enters the hub or nave. When the wagon breaks down, 3 times out of 4, I think, it is at this point that the accident occurs. The workman should see to it that this part should never give way, then find the next vulnerable place, and so on, until he arrives logically at the perfect result attained by the deacon. Unquestionably, there is something a little like extravagance in How the Old Horse Won the Bet, which taxes the credulity of experienced horsemen. Still, there have been a good many surprises in the history of the turf and the trotting course. The Godolphin Arabian was taken from ignoble drudgery to become the patriarch of the English racing stock. Old Dutchman was transferred from between the shafts of a cart to become a champion of the American trotters in his time. Old Blue, a famous Boston horse of the early decades of this century, was said to trot a mile in less than 3 minutes, but I do not find any exact record of his achievements. Those who have followed the history of the American trotting horse are aware of the wonderful development of speed attained in these last years. The lowest time, as yet recorded, is by Maud S. in 2 minutes 8 3/4 seconds. If there are any anachronisms or other inaccuracies in this story, the reader will please to remember that the narrator's memory is liable to be at fault, and if the event recorded interests him, will not worry over any little slips or stumbles. The terrible witchcraft drama of 1692 has been seriously treated, as it well deserves to be. The story has been told in 2 large volumes by the Rev. Charles Wentworth Upham, and in a small and more succinct volume, based upon his work, by his daughter-in-law, Caroline E. Upham. The delusion commonly spoken of as if it belonged to Salem was more widely diffused through the towns of Essex County. Looking upon it as a pitiful and long dead and buried superstition, I trust my poem will no more offend the good people of Essex County than Tam O'Shanter worries the honest folk of Ayrshire. The localities referred to are those with which I am familiar in my drives about Essex County. O.W.H., July, 1891. End of the preface, recorded by Laurie Ann Walden.